Morning. Welcome to the Daily Tanya. Today is Thursday, the 8th day of Nisan. Let's begin. Tzedakah. Gedolah tzedakah, shemekareves es hageula. Tzedakah brings Mashiach closer. So, we continue in chapter 39 in Tanya. And today we're going to talk about why souls are privileged to rise higher than even angels. We're also going to talk about the very special power of the Torah that we study here in this world and the mitzvahs that we do, even though we may not understand and see the real power of this Torah mitzvahs that we do. But we're going to talk a little bit about this as well. So we're discussing, the Alter Rebbe here talks about the kavanah of the mitzvahs that we learned in last chapter, that of course number one is important to do the mitzvah in the action the way Hashem commanded us in the Torah. That is the number one. But yet when you do it with kavanah, with intention, with mindfulness, with feelings, then the mitzvah receives a much greater level of life and arises higher to the higher worlds. And we explained that there are two types of kavanah. There is kavanah that the feeling that comes as a result of deeply understanding the greatness of Hashem, that creates in us the feeling of fear and love to Hashem. And then there is the other type of kavanah, which is more of an innate love like that we have, more of an instinctive love that we have, a natural love that we have. And he compared that this is kavanah that is the kavanah that connected is related to humans, and then the other kavanah is more like the animal, because just like the animal works instinctively. And in chapter 39, the Alter Rebbe began yesterday to explain that even people, which is basically most of us, that are not capable of reaching the level of understanding and the greatness of Hashem and creating as a result the feeling of love, and we only have the ability to awaken our natural love. So the Alter Rebbe don't think that you're in a low level, because look, even the angels are called animals. And for that reason, the angels are called the Chayis HaKodesh, the holy animals. Why? Because angels work also in the same way, in the way of they have the instinctive love to Hashem. They're the angels that have the attribute of love to Hashem. Some angels have the attribute of gevura, the strictness, the fear of Hashem. There are also angels that are in a higher level, that are more intellectual love. I'm not going to go into this now. But basically what he said is that the angels that have the instinctive love, he's talking about very high level. So if you think that you're only serving Hashem with the instinct, with the natural love, you're at least getting to the level of the angels, which is not a bad thing at all. Alter Rebbe goes on now to say that yet the neshamas, the souls, are even able to reach higher than the angels. Even though they served in the same way, they're able to reach higher than the angels. And what does it mean to reach higher? So we explained yesterday. There are the general four worlds: the world of Atzilus, world of Bria, Yetzira, and Asiya. Atzilus, the world of emanation, where godliness is, everything is completely godly. The world of Bria is the world of creation. This is where the godly intellect is revealed, the attribute of the intellect. And the world of Yetzira is a level that the attributes, the emotive attributes of God are revealed. So tzaddikim who serve Hashem with a love that comes as a result of the intellectual understanding, they reach to the level of the world of Beria, the world of intellect, the godly intellect. Whereas the angels that serve Hashem, they're standing in the awe of Hashem in an emotive and the emotive attributes, they reach only the level. Their place is in the world of Yetzirah, the world of godly emotions. Then there is the lower world of action. So the same thing is also the people that serve Hashem. They study Torah and they do mitzvahs as a result of the emotive, the natural instinct love to Hashem. This neshamas reach to the world of Beria. Okay? Now, one other thing we have to keep in mind. We're talking about the levels of the emotive, the neshamas that reach a higher level. Every neshama also has the level of neshama and the level of ruach and the level of nefesh. Nefesh, ruach, neshama. Nefesh is the action part of the soul. Ruach is the emotive part of the soul, and neshama is the intellectual part of the soul. So tzaddikim serve Hashem with the level of neshama, with the intellectual part of the soul, seeing godliness, appreciating godliness. They reach to the level of Beria. But the ruach of those tzaddikim, every tzaddik also has every person has also the level of ruach, which is their part of serving Hashem in the motive attribute. That part of the neshama reaches only the world of Beria. And this is their regular place after they finished serving Hashem in this world. That this is where the neshama goes. But there is an exception. There are certain times that even the neshamas that serve Hashem with an instinctive way, in awakening the natural love, even those neshamas on Shabbos and Rosh Chodesh, they reach to the level of Beria. They reach to the world of the intellectual godliness, which is called also Gan Eden Elyon, the higher level of Gan Eden. The world of Yetzirah is the lower Gan Eden, the emotive, godly emotive attributes. The world of the godly emotions, this is called the lower Gan Eden. The Garden of Eden, the lower Garden of Eden. But on Shabbos and Rosh Chodesh, they reach up to the higher level, even all neshamas. And the question is why? The angels, they don't reach up to the higher level. And the neshamas do. So let's begin. We'll talk about it in a minute. Let's see inside. Says the Alter Rebbe. However, this applies specifically only to the actual level of neshamas of those tzaddikim. The level of the neshama, which is the intellectual part of the tzaddik, they reach the world of Beria, the world of the intellect. And which represent the superior intellectual perception of the blessed Ein Sof, they reach the higher level. But the level of the ruach of the tzaddikim, the level of the ruach, which is the emotive part of the neshama, that reaches only the world of Yetzirah. And similarly, similarly, all the other souls of Israel to serve God with the natural fear and love hidden in the heart of all Israel, not with love and fear born out of intellect, but they have from the natural love. They do not reach up to the world of Beria except on Shabbos and Rosh Chodesh. They ascend there too, to the Beria, the world of Beria, only on Shabbos and the Rosh Chodesh, the new moon. Because and then, when all the creation is sent to a higher level as it is written, every month on the new moon, and every week on the Shabbos, all flesh will come to prostrate themselves before me, says God. And says the Alter Rebbe, the way the neshama goes up from the world of Beria from the world of Yetzirah to the world of Beria, from the lower Gan Eden to the higher Gan Eden, it goes through by means of a pillar that extends from the lower Gan Eden to the higher Gan Eden. Now, what does it mean? What is that pillar? So don't picture in your mind a physical pillar, because when it's not a physical thing. The word Amud comes also from the word Omed. Omed means standing. Standing silent. In order to reach from one world to a higher world, one needs to stand silent, meaning one needs to be completely nullified. Just like when you learn one in one way, one type of studying, and you want to come to a different level of studying, you have to forget the system the way you're used to studying the first thing. You have to push the reset button, completely erase and forget what your previous way of thinking. Just like the Gemara says about Rabbi Zera. When he came from the Babylon to Jerusalem, he fasted 40 days, some say 100 days, to forget the way he was learning in Babylon, to be able to achieve the level of learning in Jerusalem. It was a different way of thinking. So he was fasting, asking Hashem, he should forget the way. Not to forget the Torah, God forbid, because you're not supposed to forget the Torah learning. Whatever you study, you have to remember. But he studied and he prayed to Hashem to forget the way of thinking, to be able to achieve the high level. And that is the idea of the Amud. The neshama, to be able to reach from the lower Gan Eden to the higher Gan Eden, goes through the pillar, goes through the concept of completely self-nullification. So that's what he says, Derech ha'amud shemegan Eden tachtan legan Eden elyon, she'olam abriya nikra Gan Eden elyon, by means of the pillar that extends from the lower Gan Eden, from Yetzirah, to the higher Gan Eden, meaning the world of Beria, which is called the higher Gan Eden. By means of this pillar, these souls ascend there too, to delight in God and to bask in the radiance of the Shekhinah, to bask in the radiance of the greatness of Hashem, appreciating the higher appreciation of godliness, the greater joy the neshama has. Says the Alter Rebbe, ki ein anoy v'tainug l'seichel nivro elo b'ma shemaskel meivim yidei meivim seichel v'nosim. The intellect of a created being delights and derives pleasure only in that which it conceives, understands, and knows, and grasps with the intellect and understanding. When you appreciate that, even if when you think about a concept and you understand it finally, you gain tremendous pleasure for this. As much as it can grasp of the blessed Ein Sof, through the Ein Sof light, through his wisdom and his understanding, which radiates there in Beria, enabling the soul to perceive godliness. For as mentioned earlier, the Chabad of Atzilus, the wisdom, understanding, and knowledge of Atzilus, the highest world, to which the Alter Rebbe refers to as his wisdom, his understanding, this radiates in Beria, the world of Beria, for which reason Beria is the world of understanding. Now, says the Alter Rebbe, how come then the neshamas, the question that we asked before, how come the souls are privileged to reach higher than the world of Yetzirah, even though they served Hashem only with emotive attributes? So how come the angels don't have this privilege to go up, and the neshamas, the souls, do? And the Alter Rebbe explains that the reason is because the angels really, they have no freedom of choice. And a neshama lives in this world, he has a freedom of choice. And he has to break himself to work and serve Hashem, rather than doing other things, rather than going against the will of Hashem. So yes, we do it from instinctively because we have the natural love to Hashem, but in order to make the choice to follow our natural instinct, that is an intellectual choice. And we are able to turn the darkness into light, which is also comes from a much, much higher level of light to be able to transform the darkness. Says the Alter Rebbe, these souls who serve God with a natural love and fear are privileged to rise occasionally on Shabbos and Rosh Chodesh to Beria, higher than the angels whose abode is in Yetzirah, as mentioned above. They never rise to Beria, although they too, like the angels, serve God only with a natural fear and love. And the answer is, this is because through their fear and love, the sitra achra clothed in the body is subdued. So that is the power. The angels, whatever they serve Hashem with fear and love, they don't subdue any darkness. They're created beings that way. But when a Jew serves Hashem with fear and love, that subdues and transforms the darkness. Whether in the case of fear, in the realm of running away from evil, conquering and crushing their desires, or whether in the realms of doing good, as mentioned above. These souls, while in the physical world, they had freedom of choice. They might have chosen evil, God forbid, but they didn't. They chose good. Yet they chose good to subdue the sitra achra, so that God's glory be elevated in all worlds, with an elevation similar to the superiority of light emerging from the darkness over ordinary light, as mentioned above. So that's why the neshamas are able to reach up higher than the malachim. Now the Alter Rebbe comes and says something even much more powerful. He says, we're talking about until now, where the neshama reaches. The neshama that served Hashem intellectually, they reached to the world of Beria. The neshama that reached to the level, served Hashem with emotionally, with emotional love, they reached to the world of Yetzirah. Says the Alter Rebbe, this is only when we're talking about the soul itself. But the Torah and the mitzvahs that the soul did with the body in this world, the Torah itself is godliness itself. Because the Torah is the will of God. A soul is connected to God, but it's a separate entity. The Torah that you do, that you study, the mitzvah that you do, is one with God himself. That is the will of Hashem. It's not a separate entity. So therefore, the soul, the Torah that you do, reaches up and connected. He calls it with the 10 attributes of the worlds, The 10 attributes of the world are godliness itself. The godliness that is in each world. That is much, much higher than where the soul goes. The soul enjoys a ray of the light of the Torah that you studied. It's just like you have the sun and you have the ray of the sun. The ray of the sun is just a little bit, a tiny bit. Compared to the sun, it's nothing. So what the souls enjoy is a ray of the sun. The Torah that they study is the sun itself. That's what the Alter Rebbe explained. And all the aforesaid concerns the abode and station of the souls. But the Torah and the divine service, the prayer, the mitzvahs, however, it says they are actually absorbed in the 10 sephiros, the 10 attributes, which are a manifestation of godliness and with which the Ein Sof light unites in perfect unity. It says unites in perfect unity, which is much greater than that soul unites. Specifically, this means that once Torah and divine service ascend to the 10 spheres of the world of Berea, when generated by intellectual fear and love. And to the 10 sephiros, the 10 attributes of the world of Yetzirah, when prompted by natural fear and love. And here says the Alter Rebbe that when we're talking about the 10 attributes, the attributes, they contain within them the higher levels as well. That's what is meaning that they're united with God Himself. Now within them, within the spheres of Bria and Yetzirah, there are clothed the 10 spheres of the world of emanation, the world of Atzilus, and they are completely unified with them. And the 10 spheres of Atzilus are in turn perfectly united with their emanator, the blessed Ein Sof, the blessed light of Hashem Himself. But the souls, on the other hand, in contrast with their Torah and divine service, their souls are not absorbed into godliness of the 10 spheres. But they stand instead in the chambers and abode of Bria and Yetzirah. This is considered the external part of this world of Bria and Yetzirah, whereas the Torah itself that they study and the mitzvahs that they do, they're in the internal, in the spheres itself. And there the souls delight in the radiance of the Shekhinah. What is the radiance of the Shekhinah? This is the meaning the blessed Ein Sof light as it is unified with the 10 spheres of Bria and Yetzirah. And this is the shine of the Torah mitzvahs that they themselves do. And this radiance that they enjoy is actually a ray of light of their own Torah and divine service. Because the reward of a mitzvah is the mitzvah itself. The mitzvah itself that you do, that itself is the reward, because the mitzvah is connected with godliness itself. And the reward is the neshama is able to enjoy the radiance of that Shekhinah that comes from the mitzvah that you did, which gives us a whole new understanding. When we go, you put on tefillin with someone, you have any idea what kind of unification with Hashem is done? And your neshama enjoys later that mitzvah. And every mitzvah you do, give tzedakah, you put in tefillin, you eat the matzah for Pesach, any mitzvah that you do reaches higher than any angel that is able to reach, and in a way it's also even higher than tzaddikim, especially a person who has to fight with the Yetzer Hara, the evil, to be able to do the mitzvah, reaches even a higher level. That's the end of today's shir. We'll see you tomorrow. B'ezras Hashem. Have a wonderful day.